Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for another Fool's Gold review. And in this week's Fool's Gold, I'm covering the Justice League versus, or should we say the Juicebox League of Brian Michael Bendis and the Legion of Stupid Heroes of Brian Michael Bendis. As it's the first issue for the series, and of course the second last Future State that I'll be collecting, the Future State Gotham issue 9, and as you can see here, the price I paid for them, $3.99. which they have to somewhat get close to, or actually up to maybe the $6 mark before they leave this section. $6 to $7 mark before they leave this section. But of course, to those who are new to how I do Fool's Gold, I rate the cover, the art, and the story. But this is where I add a total for the artist. In other words, how much I believe the art is worth, how much I believe the writer's story is worth. And that goes for both of these. So, now it's time to get started. And we'll be starting off with Justice League, or should we say Juicebox League, and Legion of Stupid Heroes first, before moving on to Future State Gotham. So starting off with first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to anything that is happening inside of the story? Well, surprisingly, it somewhat does. And to which I give the cover a 6.5 out of 10, to which I believe it is worth $1.25. Now, that's in Australian dollars, not in the US, because I have to have the currency conversion here of what the US dollar is in Australian. Alright, now it's time to jump into the internal art, to which I'll show you some art around the beginning, middle, and end. Now, this is the beginning, or some art around the beginning, and of course you can see the Legion of Stupid Heroes, care of Brian Michael Bendis, and of course, last but not least, Gold Lantern. I must admit, it is quite interesting how this story goes. And as we jump towards the middle of the story, of course, we've got the Juicebox League, because they need the juice box for Naomi here. And of course we can see one of the members of the Legion of Stupid Heroes that Brian Michael Bendis has worked on and has brought in. And of course we get a bit of a jump to the 21st century and the new metropolis and what's happening there. Alright, this is just before the last couple of pages. And I don't care, you're getting a spoiler as to what the last 2 pages look like. Basically a repeat of each other. And as you can see here, it's just Gold Lantern. For the internal art, I decided to give this a 6.5 out of 10, to which I believe it's worth another $1.25. So that's $2.50 for the artist. Now it's time to jump into the area of the story and the rating of the story. So, first things first, to those who don't know how I like to rate my stories, I like to firstly look for any comic references, like any legitimate comic references that are both put in by the writer and the editor, and if there's none of those, sometimes points can be lost, depending on how good the story is, or how bad the story is. And seeing that there were none here, it wouldn't have hurt to have actually included both comic references to Brian Michael Bendis' Justice League, as well as his Legion of Superheroes. In regards to the area of time, because it's nice to know when these things are taking place, even in a continuity scale, and that also works with the comic references. Of course, in the time which was actually covered, we had the 21st century, but we didn't get the time period as to when it was taking place in the time of the Justice League. Again, something that could be fixed. Moving into the locations, we of course had the New Earth and the area of Metropolis. We also had the Legion HQ, and last but not least, the Hall of Justice. Even though the Hall of Justice wasn't properly pointed out, it was done so through the art. The cast of characters consisting of course, the Legion of Stupid Heroes, care of Brian Michael Bendis, and the Juicebox League, of course, care of Brian Michael Bendis. The terribly aged up John Samuel Kent, again, care of Brian Michael Bendis. And, of course, Tom the One True Pony Taylor. I do have a note down here, and that is this story. I found that if you followed the Gold Lantern's narration, you can see that this is his untold story that was left fully, that wasn't fully fleshed out in the Bendis Legion of Stupid Heroes. I found that whilst I was actually following the Gold Lantern's narration, I somewhat enjoyed the story a little bit more. But as for the word salad, in a lot of places it also ruined a lot of what the art was also telling us. Like, yes, you could see in the art that you had the Legion of Superheroes talking with the Justice League. So overall, I'm going to be a little bit generous in this first issue. And I'm going to give this story a 5 out of 10. To which I believe the story is worth $1, which gives a total of $3.50. But if you really want to enjoy some great Brian Michael Bendis trades, pick up his Jinxword. Actually, even pick up his Joy Operations. You'll probably enjoy that over this. Well, now it's time to jump into Future State Gotham. So, now we finally jump into Future State Gotham. And starting off with first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that's happening inside of the story? Not really, but I did decide to give it a 5 out of 10, to which I believe it's worth $1. So in that, the art quality of the cover also dropped. I'll now move to showing the internal art, to which we'll get to see around the beginning, middle and of course the end. And also see some of what's happening in the story. So this is some of the art around the beginning, and as you can see, we've got Red Hood, or Peacekeeper Red, who's turned up at a crime scene, and he's out to investigate. Jumping towards the middle, as you can see, we've got Red Hood out once again, and there's some people that it looks like he's either in contact with, or there's someone behind the scenes that's in contact with other members of the villain community. And last but not least, the Red Hood, Peacekeeper Red, encounters the next Joker wannabe. And totally ugly design. Seriously, totally ugly design. But I will say one thing, some of the art in this wasn't too bad. So for the internal art, I gave it a 6.5 out of 10, to which I believe it's worth $1.25. Now let's jump into the area of the story. In the area of the story, did it have any comic references, even to any of the previous comics to which this particular writer has worked on, in connection to Future State? No, none at all. What about time? No, none at all. What about location? Well, we only know that the location's in Gotham, but why aren't they being creative as to saying which parts of Gotham they are going to? Is it downtown? Is it uptown? Where the F is it? Come on, be creative. At this moment, a turtle's more bloody creative than you. Alright, jumping into the next thing. Cast of characters. We had Jason Todd, Hunter Panic, Nightwing. We also had Talia, who was also looking for Damien, to which we did get to see a bit of a picture of Damien, or of the Damien that we are looking for. We also encountered Tobias Whale, Wild Dog, and someone else. This one's story rating, it got a 0 out of 10. Well, until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.